get a call. Hey, your guy's going to pick up your check. I looked at the check. It's 2 days beyond the scale date. So I cut a new check. It's sitting at my desk all like that.
Oh, that's
well, their
brutal.
attorneys are goofing around.
So that's old business. Let me just hit you with a couple things here that I forgot about. Just filling you in. Dynatech, this will be on the. I didn't even talk to Lauren about this. I forgot about it actually until I was going through emails. Dynatech's, we're going to have a service agreement with them to service the generators throughout the school district. Currently, the way it works is they get serviced when the maintenance guys think they didn't have time. It's a life safety issue. I don't think we need to have to take that chance. It's $3,170, I think. It's $3,175 per year.
For what? I'm sorry, for servicing.
Servicing all the emergency generators. That is that listed by names? Oh, here it is. Monocacy has 2. Amity has 1. The high school has 2. The high school has 3 with the IT. Birdsboro has 1. Middle school has 1, and the admin offices here have 1.
It's like 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 generators.
And that's servicing it like
Change oil, change
twice
filter.
a year. Oh,
But
they'll still run it.
They'll run it. They'll make sure
monthly
the
and all that.
transfer switches
Okay.
work and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize we did our own service and I'd outsource.
Well, from what I understand, they did, but
and who's
I don't know how efficient it was.
Who's the vendor on that?
Dynatech. DYNA.
So that's not a bad price at all.
No.
That's a great price.
I got to know these people through Wilson School District when I was there. They're very responsive. They do very good work.
Where are they out of?
Lancaster.
Oh, probably not coming over my way.
Lebanon. Most of them were.
So say that's a great price.
Yeah.
I pay like $800 a piece, I think.
How many gens here?
3.
So
they come out twice a year, so it's $805, and it's like $1,200 or $1,300 a year per generator.
And I just gave them a list of the generators, and they said, listen, because it's not, since we haven't been there, we may be able to streamline a little bit better, but right now their numbers at.
Yeah.
They're coming Wednesday and Thursday to do it. So.
Looking for the term of contract.
It's yearly.
I know.
But
Most years have a start and an end.
They are from
Start in August of 15 and continue at annual intervals.
I say you might have. You just have to watch. You might have to give them like 60 days notice if you decide not
Dated
to.
August 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to align it to our fiscal year.
And what happened was, what really spurred this was, one, that Phil Kerr's not here anymore. He kind of would do it as he had time. But I said to Scott Matz at IT, I said, when was the last time your generator out back to service? He goes, I have no idea. He goes, Phil changed the oil sometime last fall. Because he was told that maintenance took care of it.
But can't our guys do that in-house?
No.
Okay. Okay.
So do you want me to put this on the Cal and you will present it?
We can. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't. I think it's a reasonable price. I think it's.
They're coming when?
But they're coming this week.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Well,
it's a service that we're doing. So
I would say
Right.
this, Lauren. It probably should get your blessing because certain people are going to complain about this ex post facto improving.
well, there's probably going to be more than that because we didn't have a July meeting.
Right.
Catch-up type stuff, like
And-
personnel issues and whatnot.
Right.
So all I would
And I
say,
need to have it done before school starts.
I don't have.
I agree with that.
I mean, I don't have a
Yeah.
problem recommending it
have them
post.
redo this with a 7-run
Payment.
Okay.
as an annual contract. That's the way it'll appear on the.
You're looking at $320 a generator or
It's
something
not-
like that.
it's
It's minimal,
negligible,
and
yeah.
honestly, it should be done And
To answer your question, Brian, yes, our staff can do it. Do I rely on my staff to get it done the right way? No.
there's certain things
I'll be
that
honest with you,
are
I
just
don't-
not worth having your staff do it.
Because,
I hate to
I'll be honest
say
with you, I can service it, I can change the oil, and I can change the filter, but if there comes an issue with it when I try to test run it, I'm not a trained technician to go into that transfer switch and start checking things and making adjustments. And yeah, I mean, there's certain
there's
life
other-
safety
Right.
issues.
It's not just
with it.
changing the oil, so to speak.
It's
Yeah.
making sure everything's operating properly.
This is your lawnmower.
Yeah, I hear you. I can't even
what-
get my lawnmower to run right, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well, my
don't.
weed
Do you
whacker.
do any load testing on them or anything?
Change your oil. and weed whacker.
Well,
I don't know what they run, so I don't
Oh,
know
no,
that
you
it's
don't.
critical. I
most
mean,
of them run emergency
My lawnmower.
lights, exit signs. The middle school will run, I believe, a pump or two, but I think they're primarily lights,
Okay.
exit signs.
yeah. All right, so you're
that
probably.
kind of stuff.
I mean, I do load testing online, but I'm running wastewater treatment plants and pump stations, so if they don't work, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a real big
I
problem.
mean, if not all your emergency lights work, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most school district generators restricted for lighting and
Yeah.
possibly enough for the boiler room for heat. I didn't have to worry about it up north. I was burning wood chips.
There you go.
Burning wood chips? For heat?
Oh, yeah.
As a primary source?
Yeah.
Valley Block burns sawdust.
I got plenty. I listen. If they ever need any wood chips, I got plenty down there. I can bring a tractor trailer to you, load them up.
And I was heating 3,600 square feet of sidewalk in my high school because it was adjacent to the boiler room. It was an easy run. When I was running that wood burner, it was dirt cheap. I never had
This is part of the
anybody
high
on
school
my
request
sidewalk.
report real quick.
That's awesome.
You go out there on the snow and all you saw was steam coming in.
That's awesome.
Oops. This is just, I almost forgot to give you guys this. This is about the high school, this is actually about school district-wide roofs. Tremco, who we have our warranty with at the high school, does an audit as part of their warranty. The audit costs us nothing. They go around and they assess all of the roofs, lifespan, longevity, replacement costs, what they recommend, what so the second, you can see my email, it's just, them saying, hey, here's your management plan. Craig Stover is from Sensenig Roofing. He was actually out here last week already. There's things that Sensenig will recommend based on our conversations. But as you can see, with the age of the roofs, the dates that they were installed, the square footage, and what they're made of, this is,
Wow.
if you look down the category for the restored delay, the highlighted stuff, the eyebrow roofs that they're talking about are the ones where the windows are sticking outside of the wall at the middle school. You have a roof about the size of this, about a little bit longer than this single table. It's 3 foot by about 12 feet or so, and there's 35 of those. So,
Where's that?
middle school. The highlighted stuff, it's just showing you that the 30,000 square feet doesn't cover those
So
eyebrow roofs. So,
Compare this to the reserve study.
I didn't
That's
want
fine.
to mess with you.
Just curious.
I was that's what I was wondering too. And is that for the middle school? Is that just like maintenance, or is that repair or replacement, or because that 450 that's for
That's coating.
coating it?
That's
Okay.
That's to coat the flat roofs.
Okay, I was gonna say because that couldn't be a replacement. All right. So
To coat the flat roofs? And you said there's 35 of them?
No, that
There's
doesn't include
the
those
30
35
it doesn't
small
right yeah. The
windows.
30,000 square feet doesn't include those little roofs.
I'm trying to picture
I
the
don't
roofs.
can't
I
picture
can't.
them either.
The windows, the big bank of windows that you see on each
the-
floor,
Oh, on each.
they stick out from the wall about this far. They're like eyebrow windows, kind of like a bay window, for lack of a better term. And each one of those has a flat roof with a roof drain in it.
Why don't people think when they do this kind of stuff?
That's the one that comes down, ties into the walls that come inside. So
then when they
But it
plug
looks
up
nice.
and freeze up,
Yeah,
It's
like,
like-
who
it's like
designed
plastic.
this? Like, was it
The
this
people-
company, Tremco, that
No.
designed our building?
The people whose names are on the
Yeah, I
plaque.
know.
Tremco is.
It looks pretty, but maintenance-wise, it's a nightmare.
All right, I'm not over. I mean,
So this is just enough.
Yeah.
This is just
Well,
your information.
what I'm interested in. Okay, I'm not overly concerned with 2016, 2017 because those. I mean, not that we have that money, but those numbers are relatively not. You know,
Workable number.
but you got $1.5 million in 2018 for the high school roof.
That's
We
the
don't
roof
have
that's
that
under-
built into our 5-year plan.
And that's the roof that's under the warranty. That's the one they're fixing for nothing.
Right. But
So
it's
why-
up
The
in.
warranty runs
because
out in
it's up.
2017. So that's why they put that line item in as 2018.
But we might be able to. Okay.
And we're going to.
That's
It's
what they're doing where I came from.
you know, as they see what they have in repairs, they'll probably give us extensions to, you know, pay another 5-year warranty or whatever for leaks.
What were those warranties
I'd
like?
have to
You have
find
no
out. And they're
idea.
not going to give us those numbers until 2000.
Well, I'm just wondering like
End of
what we
16, beginning
paid.
of 17. 25 grand
originally.
for 5 years
Well, that's not bad.
was the warranty term.
I'm just. I mean,
Silicone caulk.
that's something we got to throw out of finance too because that's a big nut.
Like 2017 AEC, this is the flat roofs on AEC. You
And you
have
got
almost
the-
20,000 square feet of flat roofs. The proposal I received from Sensenig before, I think, was 100-some thousand for the ones that were easily accessible, that it wasn't all of the flat roofs. So they're going to go back and forth and, you know, figure out what it is. But I just wanted to kind of make everybody aware of what
You know,
Tremco
these-
is doing for us, too.
So the Tremco is the company who is doing the warranty work now at the high
Correct.
school.
They're a roofing company.
And they're a
Yeah.
roofing supply company.
Weatherproofing company, we use local subcontractors.
Oh, they sub it out to local guys.
Sensitive must be for sub, right?
Sensitive.
Well, Sensenig is a certified installer for them. There's many certified installers, but I've used Sensenig in the past. They have done multiple repairs for us already. since I'm
Tremco's
here.
the product manufacturer, as it were.
We
Okay.
call it weatherproofing technologies they operate under.
What they do is
Okay.
they sell you the warranty to keep their foot in the door. They consult you on everything with the hope that they're going to now get the business down the road.
Okay, so I just wanted to just to kind of play devil's advocate. So like Train, right? We were kind of tied to Train contracts. Is this a similar thing
We're
where
not tied to Tremco at all.
so anybody you could find anybody who could do commercial roofing?
We could very easily put this out for bid if we wanted to. Bring an architect in, have them design it.
And what's your thoughts on
And what
that?
the architect's going to do is they're going to hire Tremco
Right.
to write the spec.
Uh-huh.
Tremco is tied in with Pennsylvania Joint Purchasing and
Yeah.
KPN, so that the bid specs are already written, so you don't need an architect. So if you decide you're going to roof your building, you go to KPN, Keystone Purchasing Network, and they'll use Tremco to do the job for you. Then when they do the job, there's where your warranty comes into play. And
It's all the game, man. It's knowing how to play that game as,
Well, and
as
I'm
manufacturers
okay
are.
with all that, but and we don't have to talk about this now, but I know we did that TKN or whatever
TCPN.
TCPN with the boiler.
no, you didn't.
And-
That was a nightmare. You didn't really.
Okay, I don't because I know there's
No,
something
you
fishy
didn't.
there, and I don't want to be doing.
No,
all
They
right.
use, yeah, they and that's
It was a smoke and mirrors.
Okay,
that's
that, I
part
don't
of
want.
the
That's
new
what I
business.
don't.
Oh,
That's also
really?
part of the new business side.
Yeah, that's why we don't have to do. Yeah.
That's also part of the new business side of this on this list. So,
Everything's great.
but I wanted to give you this because I forgot I had it.
Okay.
I just wanted to kind of give it to you.
Well, I think that's important to know because you got $3.5 million in expenses
And Lauren,
potentially in the next 5 years.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Four, oh yeah, 4.25.
I did 3 complete roof replacements.
I was just looking at the two
inside
things.
10 years with this Tremco. Because the roofs fit. and they had two or
Under their
three-
warranty.
And they came in and said, they build a reserve in.
Yeah.
That's what pays the warranty.
Right.
And they came in after the last one, and they said, you got us up against the wall. I said, hey, I've got a warranty. Now they did come back since I left up there, and they are negotiating extensions to them.
Well, because they fixed them now, so they might get more money.
Yeah, they had a bad experience with a subcontractor. But that was their problem, it wasn't mine.
Yeah, they hired the sub.
That's right.
Yeah, it's on them.
Plus they damaged my hardwood floor in the competition gym. One deficient subcontractor stripped the roof off, failed to tarp the roof. He did have tarps on the floor to just catch debris as he was working. He had a gully once. So water came in and got in under the tarps that they
Right.
put down for debris. And one section under the one back basket on the end, top of the key, that maple, those pieces of maple, when they buckle, they just form a pyramid. And they got all these sharp edges. All you can do is take out a section of it.
Cut it out.
Then you've got to stripe, sand, stripe, finish.
Jeez.
It was expensive, and it was 3 weeks before school started.
Oh no, that's a nightmare.
So then I had a battle on my hands. But Tremco came to my defense and they got me reimbursed for the.
Okay.
It wasn't theirs. That was
on the contractor.
So no, Tremco's a legitimate outfit. There's no doubt about it.
New business, I'm going to hit the performance contract last because I want to spend a little bit of time on that one. While Larry gets here, so he has an understanding of what my intents are.
I don't think it's coming.
I say, I don't know. I can.
I think you got caught in traffic.
I'll ask him if he's
Got
still
caught
coming.
napping. Just discussing BEC parking lots. We had a light pole that was knocked over by a resident 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that was never replaced.
That's an insurance claim, right?
Did we get the insurance money and just not
No,
fix
it
it?
was never filed. She laughed, or whatever the deal was. The,
Huh?
Why didn't you pursue it?
I
If
I
it
have
was
no
a-
idea.
If it was a member of the public.
probably somebody's friend.
But anyway, there's an
Probably
orange
board
cone.
members to
There's an
order.
orange cone over.
I'm like,
If you drive past BEC's parking lot, you will see an orange cone in the parking lot. That is where the pole belongs. We need to put a new pole there because that parking lot is getting dark. With that, right now the pole is at macadam height. The
So
way
the-
they should have it done is the pole should be on a concrete caisson pillar 3 or 4 feet above the parking lot, macadam, so if somebody does back into it, they hit concrete instead of the pole.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so I have a real problem, a legitimate problem, putting the taxpayers on the hook for something that somebody did, and like 2-3 years ago, it was never pursued. And there's nobody here today
yeah.
who you can hold responsible, whether board members or administrative members. So I'd like to try to understand if there's some recourse for us as a district to,
Can we go to our insurance company?
yeah.
Then our insurance is going to say, okay, give me the details.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna
there was
say
no
it's-
accident report or anything, there's no nothing.
Nothing.
How is it
The pole's
known?
laying
that-
behind the high school. Well, actually, I think it might have been cut up and taken.
Okay,
to
so what is this
scrap
gonna
yard.
cost us?
Well, I'm throwing it out there because there's when we brought up parking lots, the reason I don't want to do crack sealing at the Birdsboro is because we have some catch basin work that needs to be done there as well. That has started to sink around the catch basins. If we do this pole, my suggestion is, the problem is I can't pull the wire back. The poles are fed from one to the next, to the next, to the next. We tried to pull the wire back, we're unable, which means the conduit in the ground has probably collapsed. And the wire is now just laying in dirt. Yeah, so we can't pull it out. But as I said, we should really extend the concrete because right now it's at Macadam Heights, so anybody can back into that pole, or you put
So there's
pipe
no
ballards.
concrete pillar.
It never was?
No, it's even with the
It's
Macadam.
just a silly design.
Correct. So the two options are to leave it where it's at and put a new pole up there and just reconnect it and put ballards around it.
Yeah.
Or extend it up, but then we would have to move it a couple spots over to get enough wire. Because right now there's not enough wire to extend the pole height.
Right, and you can't just patch in a piece,
Correct.
put a box.
Correct. But there again, there's also some catch basin work there. So I'll get those numbers together for you before the
Bury a
next
box in
meeting.
the
We
ground.
could put
and just
LED
place it.
lighting in and eliminate this pole.
Well, and that's the other part is, which goes back to this, the performance contracts, and we'll
Okay.
kind of hit that all kind of
All right.
together. So, but I wanted to make you aware of it.
It's just one thing after
It
another.
is. It really is.
I'd want to pursue all angles to eliminate that pole. If it's out there in the middle of a parking lot.
Somebody's gonna hit it.
doesn't belong
Right.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem is if we put wall packs on the building, we shine into the neighbor's property.
Right, we
That's
can
what
do
we have to
that.
be
there.
careful
Tell them
about.
to close the shades.
And that's what we have to be careful. We just have to get.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
We have to get some lighted.
Put a hedgerow up.
Right.
Some fast growing poplars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he's stuck in traffic at the Walt Whitman Bridge.
He's doing what?
He's stuck in traffic at the Walt Whitman Bridge.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gonna
He
make
ain't
it.
gonna get here.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it.
That's all right.
Tell him we've been waiting for it. We'll start the meeting now.
Yeah, yeah, not at 5 to 7. Jeez.
Where do I see Walt Whitman?
He has no
School
shot.
Dude, this is not on your list. School Dude is a company that provides all types of modules for schools. Work orders for maintenance, facility use, IT, inventory, capital expenditures. There's just all kinds of modules. We have gotten the IT work order side of it. We've purchased the maintenance side of it.
This is a piece of software.
Yep. The work order system is a great work order system. Scott Matz had used it at Wyomissing. I had used it at Wilson. Currently, it's very hard for him and I both to track our staff to of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
You're
what's
working
being,
off-
and what's being forgotten.
Like a napkin punch
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
So
Is there something wrong with
we
it?
have that, and this is also the program that the resident brought up last board meeting about the facility usage. The module has the ability to bill out of it. You can invoice the people out of it. Residents can reserve and see availability right away if those fields and stuff are available. They can reserve online.
Does it tie into our PO system?
No, but it may to a point, but it will definitely streamline the process for us to manage it. Right now, they use My School Building, or no, not.
Their hand right now. They use
What's
their-
the one they all the
Schedule start.
yeah, the ADs use. Right now, we use Schedule Star for all of our stuff, and it's just not very user friendly when people are trying to find what's being used and what's not being used. So that's all part of it. But we'll be getting this out to everybody so they can understand what's going on.
What's that look like,
What's that?
cost-wise?
Well, I beat them up pretty hard.
24,000.
Is it really?
What's the number?
Did
Remember?
you say two?
Yeah, that's
well,
24,000, yeah. That's your number.
It was a lot less than that.
Okay.
What I did was they mandate you to do all this like quick starts and startups and trainings and stuff like that. So I don't need any of that. So what they did is they more or less gave us a prorated 9-month fee for an entire year. So what we have to pay in the startups is what they gave us a discount, but they can't.
So it's
they
an
have to
annual
They
charge us
can't
the
do the
startups.
right.
So
So it's an annual license?
it's an annual license
Because-
based on the number of students that you have.
Right, because that's a different group and they can't discount
Correct.
that service. So they
Correct.
have to discount the software.
Yeah.
I can tell you all about it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And it's through KPN, so we pay 13% discount for the software and 8% discount for the startups and stuff. So
Well, I can inflate MSRP all day long, you know.
Right. Exactly.
It's, you know, and
But
then go. You're
it's,
getting.
it's based on the number of students that you have. Is the way they bill, and then all the supports for nothing. I mean, I can call them 100 times a week, and it doesn't cost us a dime.
I hope not.
It doesn't. It's a great company. I think we spent. Scott Matz had money in his budget for it.
I was going to ask you guys how that would be
Yeah.
divvied up.
Scott gave money towards it. I gave the rest of it towards it with what we had with everything else. You know, with the savings we had with the service contracts, that money was still in this year's budget, so we kind of used that. The thought process was to use some of that money to pay for this. It was $14,000 for all 5 modules and all the training and everything. So it's,
And that's for each year you're going to
Yeah.
pay that?
yeah, but it's well worth it. The work order system is well worth it. The inventory.
How much is schedule start?
Schedule Star is free, but it doesn't work very well.
Nothing's free.
Well, I don't know what they.
There's
I think
probably
the schools
maintenance.
pay.
There's probably a couple $1,000s in your maintenance.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, they'll still have to use Schedule Star for their games, for the school games, because all the ADs use that. But
School game?
athletic games,
Yeah, but schedule.
baseball.
That's not a part of this.
It is,
It
but
can be, yes.
but the county doesn't use.
But the athletic directors throughout the county don't use it.
Gotcha. I hear you. Okay.
So,
But
but that's,
So that's already done?
yep. Yep, just bringing you up to speed on that. Because we had looked at using some free stuff that Scott had, and it just wasn't working, and we said we got to, because that way our modules work together. So if he has a projector install that needs electric and maybe some ceiling work, it's one work order. So it gets assigned to both departments. And everything talks between itself. So when we enter the information, it's on our account information, and then all you do is when you open up the next module, you just allocate it to that one. People, jobs, roles, the whole 9 yards.
And your
So
guys are going to use it?
they don't know it yet, but they're finding out tomorrow morning. It tracks hours. It can track materials. I don't use the material side of it, but I want the guys to start tracking their hours. So they're not going to like.
Well, you can measure productivity against the hours of work that you're paying for, and I follow the logic of doing
Scott
that.
had money left over
no, I
last
think
year,
you should.
so we have
Yeah, but it's
10-inch
not
10-inch
thing.
tablets that the guys have now to track their work orders.
Oh.
It's all web-based. So the way it'll work is the head custodians will get the request from the teachers, principals, wherever they're building. If they can't repair it, they enter the work order. The work order comes to me. I assign it to my guys, or I take care of it myself. Assign to them. Then I can track how long it's taken to get stuff completed. We can see if there's a chronic offender of a teacher, maybe causing issues, or a complaint about a room temperature. Yeah, it helps us manage what's going on, and things don't get forgotten.
I hear you. That's
And that's the huge part for me.
I
Because
just.
I can assign my head custodians.
What's it
that
going to be next
responsibility.
year? Are they going to? Is it going to be the same number every year, or are they going to
It's
go back to
cheaper.
the 12-month thing?
It's like the renewal for each year is like $11,000 or $12,000 each year for everything.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just going to have to be
I'm
a line
cool with
item
it.
for next
Usually
year.
you get
in our budget, that's all.
usually it's a reduced.
It is. It's kind of roughly it's about $2,000 to $3,000 for each module.
Right.
The maintenance side of it is actually the biggest because it's the maintenance and preventive maintenance. So what'll happen is, let's say I want to have the pumps greased once a month. All right,
It'll
for
throw a
all of our
work
mechanical
order.
rooms. I can put that into preventive maintenance, and every month that will spit a work order out into the work order system. So it won't get forgotten.
okay.
Because relying on the guys is difficult at times.
Well, right. It'll happen
Just because they're
sporadically.
being, yeah, they're being
Sure.
pulled everywhere. So
Well,
it's
and that is true. And I also think, I mean, I don't know, do they track their hours at all? See, I think, and I think that's a good thing to do twofold. A, to see if your staff's the right size that it needs to be, but also
Yep.
B, and I've told my guys, is if you don't track your hours, when you come to me and tell me you need more help, how will I know?
Correct.
Because what are you doing with your hours?
It's like the Bobs from Office Space. What is it that you say you do here? And you go, well, I manage the people.
I've just, in the last couple of months, this will pay for itself every year with the productivity of the staff. I can tell you that.
I hear you. It's a standard thing for people to have a
In
system
business,
like this.
Yeah.
But in our world, it's I'm happy you got it. I'm happy you got it.
Thank
I
you.
just know that there's going to be some questions about that.
Well,
Just-
and there again, it's already a done deal. I beat the guy up pretty hard on the phone.
it's
He
easy
got
to
tired
ask
of
for
hearing from me.
forgiveness.
Well, and it's one of those things that
It's honestly, I guess it's his
Their
his budget, right? So he's
Right.
gonna have to figure out where he's gonna budget it.
correct. And then it's going to be a software line item
Right.
for every year reoccurring.
And so
But that's that. And also what can pay for a good chunk of that is our energy curtailment. When we do our curtailment, this is my thing. Huh? August 12th is the test, and unfortunately, I'm going to be in South Carolina moving in my daughter. So, but I will communicate.
oh wait,
with all
don't
my
we have to
staff.
make a decision about energy tonight, or make a recommendation? You sent us out that
We haven't
email.
gotten there yet.
Oh, it's still on there. Okay. Sure. Oh! I see. There's a backside.
It's there. Oh yeah, there is.
Look at that. Only one sheet of paper, too.
It's not on there.
I was gonna say it's not on
I got
there.
it here.
Okay. I just don't want to forget it if that's a deadline thing.
But anyway, the energy curtailment, this year we've gotten $2,600 every month from them to pay. That's our payback on our curtailment.
What was our number last year?
It's $26.43.71 a month. And I think
That's for the summer, like the being
No,
closed
all
month?
that's every month.
This is every month we get that. What they do is PJM, who manages the grid,
I know that.
if they pay us to be able to turn electric off in our buildings. So on a hot summer day in August, let's say it gets 98 degrees, they're going to say to us, I want you to turn your power off for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. They'll give us an hour's notice. It's usually around 1 o'clock is when they want you to turn the power off, which is the heaviest load on them. They'll call us. They'll call the event at usually 10, 11 o'clock, maybe noon at the latest. They have to give an hour notice. Then we have to accept it or deny it. If we accept it, the buildings that are on the program is the high school, ADC, the middle school, and I think Monocacy are the 4 schools because they're
Why
the biggest.
wouldn't, like, Birdsboro and them be
Doesn't
on-
use enough electric.
Ah,
Just doesn't use enough.
okay.
So there's no advantage to shut that building down.
Did you say MEC's on there?
I believe NBC's on now.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the energy
I
efficient.
know.
It is energy efficient, but it's still a lot of square footage, and it's all
It's
electric.
bigger than
Well,
that
it's,
is the
it's
biggest.
the problem is you have compressors
It doesn't
in
hold
there.
anywhere near as many students as
Yeah.
BEC does. Yet it's the biggest. It's the biggest power user,
No,
fuel user. We were looking at Mike Wolf and I looked at the utility bills for all. It was all the schools, and if you look at it, if you average the dollars spent on energy per and divide that by how many students can be housed in those buildings, MEC's got to be the worst one by far out of the elementary schools. It's stuck
it
out.
might
like
have
it's-
been the way it was before, but I've made a bunch of changes there, which I've kind of.
Okay, and that might be, yeah, okay. So that's cool. I mean, we get,
And I haven't run it on a per student basis, and I mean I had the spreadsheet for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it might actually be. It might actually cost less than the other schools, but if you look at how many students can fit in that building,
I agree, but it's also, you have to remember too, and this is what I'm trying to get through to our custodians that used to mess with scheduling. You pay on your peak draw,
Right.
all right? The way they had the scheduling before is MEC, the entire building came on at 7 o'clock. So your peak draw went all the way up to here.
yep.
Well, now your daily usage is way down here, but you're paying here all day long.
That's right.
So what I've done is I've staged the building every 10 minutes. So every kind of area comes on in 10-minute intervals. So pretty much your compressors have kind of flatlined. You know, you're not spike, draw, and then flat. It's kind of a, if you want to call it like a better term, a wave. But it's about midpoint.
Okay.
So our energy has balanced itself a little bit better, and I want to see what's going on with our peak load fees because we pay a higher fee based on that higher spike,
Right.
and on how efficient the buildings are too. There's a KVR number that it's kilo. I forget what the hell it stands for, but there's, if you look at a med ed bill, it is just all kinds of numbers and fees and the whole 9 yards. But that we might as well go into. Where were we?
Electric.
We're talking about electric curtailment.
You get $2,600 a month.
That we go.
Okay.
So yeah, the curtailment. You know, one thing, that money can go towards another money goes in the general fund, but there's a lot of things that,
I thought it went into a capital
or
fund.
wherever it goes.
Okay. I was saying, I hope it was not supposed to go in the general fund.
31,700.
Okay. It's not a lot, but it's a little something.
No, that's
So-
nice. Yeah.
So that's not that I want to spend it all, but
Right.
it's a nice thing to have there that you know, for what maintenance is doing, you know, try to get some of these things to make life go a little bit easier for us.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I might as well hit you with this one too. That brings up another thing. I would like to get uniform shirts for the staff members, for our custodians and our grounds people that just have the DB logo and custodial grounds on it, just so people know who they are.
What do they wear now? Whatever they want?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
they
about
should
tired,
have. They
and sick
should
and
have.
tired of seeing grown men's armpits and stuff. The grounds crew and the maintenance crew during the summer and
They wear
and stuff.
cutoffs.
They wear cutoffs, and it just I think it's a poor representation of the school district. I'm not saying to get it laundered for them.
Yeah, well, we can buy
fine.
T-shirts or,
Well-
or something that's identified. I mean, there should be something that identifies them as who they are.
Here's kind of.
Are these samples for us to keep?
No, this is a sample to show you. This is what I'd like to get the grounds guys
Yeah, that's nice and cool.
and the custodians. It's a flex.
The
You know,
dry fit
it's
type.
they're like $11 a piece. That
$11
includes the silk screening.
You getting it from?
I didn't call it JJD Sports. This
Okay.
is I called another guy who I have dealt with years, but I'll call him. You know,
See what JD Sport can do too, because he's like.
yeah, he's a local guy, and I'm going to. I just was playing off with this guy,
I'll
but then.
feature some of those T-shirts in my back room.
Okay.
And then
Don't
if
tell
you wanted to go
Bertram.
something a little bit nicer, it's a polo, same
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know.
I don't know if they'll want to wear polos.
How many? Well,
But-
you know what? That's
It-
not their. If we tell them they're wearing polos, they're wearing polos. I don't mean to be rude.
Well, yeah. Oh, I hear you.
But
But
I
do we,
mean,
like,
do we
we're-
want? Do we need them to wear polo? Maybe they have a polo in case
Well-
maybe they get 4 regular and a polo in case they're doing
There's-
something, going somewhere, or you know.
39 employees. If we would get them 7 shirts each, so they have a week and then 2 extra in case they don't want to doing laundry. The guys would not be able to cut the sleeves off. No cutting collars out, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not putting names on them. Like I said, it would just be the DB logo in light blue and, you know, grounds or custodial or maintenance on the other chest. At $11, they're $10.50 for short sleeve. That's an extra $2 for 2X and up charge. you're looking $3,300. So that's 273 shirts.
Now, would you supply them yearly?
I think you just have a gross of them on hand to replace as needed, as long as the people aren't abusing them. And I'm not saying we have to get them for second and third shift. I think you should as well. I would definitely like to have your first shift people in them.
I think if you have to, I think if you're gonna do it,
I
I think
think
you do it
do
for
it,
everybody.
yeah.
I would prefer to see everybody. on
And
the
then
custodial
they
side.
would have to wear those?
They would have to wear them
And would they have to wear them in the winter too, or is this just summertime?
in the winter, and they
Okay.
can
They would
wear
put
a
on
long sleeve shirt underneath them.
Okay. No, me personally, I think it's a good idea. I think,
And now we have just to kind
uniformity,
of,
yeah.
well, they are representing the district, and there should be some kind of standard.
Well, right
and
now-
people should, if people see them somewhere, they should be able to easily know that they're a Daniel. Like, if there's people on our grounds and they're out there, they should know they're an employee, not just some random
because I can tell
person
you,
wandering around the school.
I'm buying
whatever.
7 or 8 of these for myself,
Well, yeah.
so I have them. You know,
I want one.
this is, you
Look it
know,
up.
because there again, it's,
Best school
President.
board member ever.
you know, right now, you know, the guys are wearing
Facilities
Harley
committee.
t-shirts.
Facilities, just facilities.
Yeah.
So I just, you know,
Say best dad.
That's what?
Dad,
Yeah.
well, we don't know about that yet. I mean, we don't know if he's the best dad ever yet. He
Yeah.
might be a crappy dad.
Yeah, it might be a crappy dad.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean,
I'm all about recommending that. I mean, look, it's a little money to spend, but I think. you
and
know,
there again,
that's-
it's a budget item for me. You know, I can set money aside every year for uniform reimbursements or, you know, uniforms or whatever, because there's nothing in there now. I'd like to start being able to allocate money every year for certain
I have an
things.
interesting question. Not that it really matters anymore, but did the food service people wear
Yes.
shirts
Yep.
of some
They
sort?
were light blue,
They wore,
Provided by Sodexo.
provided by Sodexo.
Yeah.
but I mean,
Nonetheless.
Before
Is Nutrition Group
Sodexo, we
providing
probably-
them shirts?
They had them give their sizes on the organizational day, so I presume something coming.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a standard around here.
but I think then there has to be a policy, and I don't know that it has to go through the policy committee, but there's got to be a policy on that they have to wear them. That if they're ruining them, they
Right.
Purposely.
purposely,
Right.
that, they're gonna have to buy them.
And the
those
thing
things.
is, the only people that should really hog them up would be my guys, maintenance and grounds.
Yeah. They're
You know,
gonna
for
be
greasing motors and,
Right.
you know, but even then, they can still be careful, you know,
Right.
kind of thing.
They can.
Because I told the guys already that come school starts, when school's in, there are no cutoff short sleeve shirts anymore. You know, I let them wear them during the summer, but, you know, I said, get prepared,
But they
hopefully.
love that.
They don't, but I don't care.
I
just-
know. I
just-
know.
don't
I
like-
could just hear it.
You
This
know
is why
what?
the
That might be in a
contract-
t-shirt, but at least there's no holes in it.
Listen, I got guys that are.
Contract says nothing about uniforms.
I know,
listen,
but
there's.
I read it.
We found that out when they started wearing those.
Come on, in the real world, you got guys out there. I mean, I got guys out there breaking blacktop, and when it's 100 degrees, and they're wearing their uniform.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're wearing vests and
Right.
long sleeve shirts and
So,
jeans and boots.
you know,
Oh, my buddy runs a
There's
golf
no
course
need
and
to
wears a polo and khakis
right?
all
There's
day
no
long.
need to be running around and cut off wife beaters or whatever when you're working for.
You know, and the
Yeah,
guy's excuse
premium.
now is
A
during the
public
summer
employer.
is,
Yeah.
well, there's no kids in here. Well,
I don't-
I'm tired of seeing, you know,
Well, and the public comes in sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
You know.
Our kids around the time.
So, yeah. So I'll call it just JD Sports and I'll get a concrete number. That was just a quick on a piece
Cheap.
of paper. number.
And that's
Well,
do the silk screen too.
Do you,
Yeah.
Can you see if you can have a number by Monday, and then we can recommend it? Or, well, I don't know. This will be a voting meeting, won't it? Because there's going to be stuff that we're going to have to vote
And
on.
it's I mean, does it really even have to be voted on?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's supplies.
Okay. That's fine.
It's no different than.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Said we're gonna buy a bunch of coveralls because you're gonna be doing this job down in the boiler room.
I
So
was just thinking if you get complaints, we could head it off, but
Well,
I don't care if
I think
you
if it went to,
complaints.
I don't know why, I don't know why they.
There's going to
The
be,
pushback?
let me tell you, I'll just give you a forewarning. There's going to be some complaints by my staff here shortly
okay.
because I'm rearranging some things and it's not going to go very well.
Just
But
behind the
I
contract.
was just, yeah,
And it's all
I was
within the
I was
contract.
trying to save you headache of pushback, but that's
That's fine by me.
If an
I'm okay with
employee leaves, these are issued to them. If an employee leaves.
They
They
have
need to
return.
return them,
Correct.
yes.
If they're usable, washable,
Same thing when I left Wilson. That was the first thing I took in there. Here you go. Here's all my shirts. you
Yeah,
know.
why would you want
See a couple souvenirs.
Yeah, but, all right, so that's okay. BEC. I got notes all over the place.
I say, I don't even know where you are. at
What
this
about winter
AEs.
time? I'm
What's that?
sorry. I don't want to stall this. What about winter time? Like the guys that are outside.
I want to get some sweatshirts as well.
Yeah.
So, but I'll get that
All right.
moving forward because we have a ton of scrap that we need to get to the scrap yard and stuff like that. So my thought was,
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
hand Lauren a whole lot of money for scrap that we're going to be hauling out of here, would be more or less, hey, do you mind if I use this, you know, for sweatshirts? Just get them a few of them.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know?
good idea, yeah.
Because there again, I
It's
still
not that
think there's still a representation of the school district.
Yes.
I just think it looks
I
really
agree.
crappy the way they look
I agree.
currently. It drives me nuts.
The borough
To
has
be honest with you.
everybody in shirts, and townships always have everybody in shirts.
When I went to school, the guys wore uniforms.
Yeah. Hey, all my guys when I had my business, they all had t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, the whole 9 yards. And I said, if you come in with anything other than what says Hardjan Mechanical, go home.
Right.
It's that simple. You know?
Right. You're a billboard. Come on.
If you wear a thermal, your t-shirt needs to be on top of the thermal. I want my name.
Well, I don't
Top
get to
layer.
go. I don't
We
get
put
to
our
go
name
to
at the
work
top
in a
layer,
tank
needs to
top
say
and
Hardjan,
cutoffs. I mean, come on. You know, there's just it's called work for a
Right.
reason.
Correct.
Because you work,
Yeah.
and you might get to work in your pajamas, but you know, most of us don't.
AEC, gym lighting,
A lot, yeah.
which is on the back. The cafeteria lighting is done. The LED lights are installed. They look great.
Nice.
I was able to get them in a whole lot faster than I anticipated due to the way they were installed.
Great.
So we saved some extra money on the payback there. And now MedEd is offering an additional 4 cents per kilowatt hour for the rebate. It was 5, now it's 9.
Wow.
All right. And I forgot to print it out. I would be very interested in doing the gym lighting at AEC. Now that I saw what the cafeteria lights look like, I'm not concerned about the brightness. They look like a 2x4 fluorescent fixture with your normal panel. It looks like there's 2 bulbs in there, but the bulbs are LED strips. So it's not a clear panel that's very bright. It's an opaque panel, and they do a really nice job. There's an additional $2,000 or additional $1,000 in savings. Let me just bring it up here. If we do it, we have to have the application in by the end of August.
so Act 127.
Yeah, it's all the Act 129, I think, is the number. I think.
Whatever.
I'll tell you in a heartbeat. Yes, Act 129 rebate. It's an additional. It was $770 rebate. It's $1,386, so it's an extra $616 in rebate money. The payback will be. Hang on, let's go do the math real quick here. 3,000 off of 9. Will be 3 years. 2.5 to 3 years.
Are there lights out in the gym that we need to replace, or do we just replace them?
There's not. What I did was all of the parts that I had left over from doing the cafeteria lights, while I had the lift, I went in and relamped. Just changed the bulbs. I didn't do anything with ballast. I just changed all the bulbs that needed to be changed. There's 23 fixtures of 24 that work. There again, it goes back to Lauren and you guys. I know with the budget not being with not being passed by the state and stuff like that, it's still $10,000 to buy, $9,000 or $10,000 to buy all of the fixtures now. So I think Meta is going to be, I think Meta is going to be doing this more often than not, because they're really trying to push people to save electric.
Well, because the government's forcing them to save, to cut down on the electric.
So, if it's something the business office feels there's money set aside somewhere in an account that I'm not aware of.
Those accounts don't exist.
Yeah. So.
We'll have to look through overall budget piece.
Okay. And like I said, we're fine right now. We're in good shape. It was just when that energy savings came up.
It's nice to take advantage of savings if you can, but I don't.
It's at this point.
If they're all working,
correct.
Like if you had 7 or 8 that were out, I don't know.
I have one that's out and it's a bad ballast. I just didn't get back in there to change it before I sent the lift out of here. So, but that's that on that. Performance contract, okay. With all of the things that I've brought to your guys' attention within the last 8 months, from roof issues, door issues, unit ventilators, rooftop units, the whole 9 yards. Give you a little history. What I did, performance contracts is what they renovated this facility under and what they renovated the annex under. Okay, that work's supposed to be paid for by savings. All right, so what they do is, if they tell you to spend $9 million, they're going to tell you they can save $750,000 a year. It's by saving energy with chillers and the whole 9 yards, and then you have to have the payback within 15 years or 20 years, whatever the school board decides with the contractor doing the payback. What these things have morphed themselves into, for lack of a better term, is a procurement tool for school districts. The way I had it set up at Wilson was we had an open-ended performance contract that we controlled. They didn't control it. We controlled it as a school district. All of the paperwork was done up front. It could be amended at any point in time. What they did was, Wilson said, we can give you $1.5 million a year to do upgrades. All right. So the first upgrade, the first project was a chiller. It was $450,000. Did it through a performance contract. The school district bought the equipment they wanted, used the contractor to put it in that they wanted. CM3, who managed it, who has done the lights for us, they do the engineering. They have certified engineers on staff. It's not a low bid wins. You get the project installed the way you want the project installed, and you manage it the way you want it. If the price doesn't come in good, you don't use them.
Yeah.
You have 100% control of the contract, not like they did here, where Train came in and said, "Give me, this will cost you $9 million. We can paint, we can run cabling, we can do whatever because here's your savings." When Wilson put theirs out for bid, they had the Norescos, the Carriers, the Trains, the Honeywells, Constellation Energy. They had all the big guys come in and look at it. When they realized that it was only going to be about $1.5 million a year, they all said, "Have a nice day. We don't want it." If they don't get an $8, $10, $12, $15 million performance contract, they don't want to be bothered. It's just not worth their time. CM3 is one of the few that is willing to do the little ones here, little there. Wilson right now, I think, has done about $2.5 million worth of work in the last 2.5 years under this. Because the issues we have, I sent everybody the letter from system design engineering, Steve Grip. I had him in. He is an electrical engineer. Pretty much everybody who does lighting or electric in this area uses Steve Grip. The guy is really, really sharp. He came in and we did a quick walkthrough of the building. And as the lead letter states, there's a lot of stuff in here with projected savings, projected paybacks, just based on his histories and stuff like that. But the performance contract is definitely something that school districts are using to procure work with, like I said, with who they want, to buy the equipment they want. So I think it's definitely a tool that we can use here, that we can have implemented here.
What do you see? I mean, what do you think are items that you can tackle with that?
High school annex electrical panels. If you remember, I showed you the picture of the fuse panels.
Will they save energy?
Oh yeah.
The panel itself will save you energy?
The transformers.
The transformers?
The transformers that are there are put in 1964 when the school was built.
So they're inefficient?
Very inefficient. Which is in here. Indoor type replacing existing transformers, and then they would do an electrical load as well to see what your true load is. The old transformers were grossly oversized, which is just the history of what they did back in the 60s. Energy was cheap, so they didn't really care back then.
It was like, give us plenty, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Projected payback is less than 3 years on replacing a transformer with what you save. That could be as much as 2 years, depending on what our true load is and on how it's being used. It's going to cost some money on a professional service side of it to have them come in and do the studies and be able to report back to us saying, here's what you should hit first, here's what you should hit second, here's what you should hit third. And they'll give us a priority list. Annex gym lights is on here. Same deal as the CAF over here.
Right.
Same fixtures. We replaced the contactor over there, which cost the better part of $3,000.
Is it funded with capital, with our capital, or is there some kind of financing piece to this?
You can do it with financing. You can do it with your own capital. There's a lot of ways of going about it.
Depends on the size. Might require a bond issue.
Okay.
Right. Depending on what is involved.
You do realize they're not going to borrow any more money, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well,
I was saying, Melissa, that
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
but
You get a copy of, you said you did an open-ended at Wilson?
yeah, it took me 4 months to. Fox River Rothschild did it. Yeah. You can talk to Daryl. Is the guy's name at Fox Rothschild? Daryl, I forget his last
That was
name.
going to be my next comment. This is definitely got to have a solicitor.
I was going to say, because to me, it seems like almost like you're circumventing all kinds of
Well,
You're not.
procurement rules.
You're not.
It's a loophole.
It is.
It is.
Why don't they give this stuff to municipalities? There's no loopholes for us.
What's that?
There's no loopholes for us. I want to know how we.
Probably could.
I think
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that.
I did in 2011. I did a 2.3 million guaranteed performance contract with Johnson Controls. We put out the RFP, and Johnson was the only one that bid. Honeywell looked at it, I remember, but even there, Johnson was willing to go for 2.3 million. And I replaced all my rooftop units. I replaced valves. I did all kinds of stuff.
Well, I guess because you are bidding, if you're putting out procurements, I guess you're
You have
sort
an
of bidding it.
RFP.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have the cash to do this all at once. But I looked at the savings. I looked at the bond payments, and we said, we're going to have to do this in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, much like this capital.
Right.
Reserve. The other piece to your capital reserve study is something of this nature.
Right, and that's
get it done.
right. And,
Well-
and that's the argument. When they had the argument of the stadium and this building and that, because we had all this money and we have to spend it on capital, rather than do some of that, they should have been looking at the capital improvements that needed to be done over the next 20 years.
Because this is just a partial list of what And if we were to really sit down and look at our capital reserve study,
Yeah,
20 years, and say,
gotta do
okay,
that.
let's incorporate all this into it. But you can't do that when you've got $128 million of bond issue hanging over your head now for the next
right.
22 years.
Is
So
that how much it is?
I think
Yeah.
it's something, I've got to talk to Brian tomorrow. I'll ask him to dig it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's Fox Rothschild had a hard time understanding what I was trying to get them to do, to write the contract up. I mean, it took an hour and a half conversation with them the one day in the office and really kind of,
Well, you already paid for that, so we.
you know, for lack of a better term, it was, I had to hold their hand and kind of reaffirm to them on how it was all done.
I'm open to whatever.
It's an option because
It's gotta
I
be
can
done.
tell you this,
I say it's.
the
I'm open to whatever, but
equipment that's not working, it's not going to work on its own. It's going to need to be replaced.
Right.
I have 2 air handlers in the annex gymnasium. Right now, the motors are toast. They don't work. Contactors are burned up. And I haven't done anything with them because there is no air conditioning in that building, in that gymnasium. It's straight heating. So it has like toaster oven heaters, electric heaters in it. And if I run it, I run it. That's how I heated the last month and a half.
Is that being used?
Mhm.
The other piece to this is RBC capital. What I did, I had Johnson Controls sitting at one table, and I had RBC, and we put together a plan. We knew what our debt was. Compared to what we didn't have, once again, I didn't have $130 million already out there, but I did some refinancing, which on the 16th or whatever of September, when RBC comes in, we're going to be looking at, we've got,
right. But that's what we should have been. We should have been putting that money in the capital, not using it to not raise taxes. That's a whole nother
that,
issue.
I'm sure will be on the table that night. The other piece that's out there, and we don't know all the details, but what's tied to the budget. You hear about all of this, the 150, 160 school districts across the state that were in PlanCon, projects approved, and then they put the moratorium on it 3 years ago. Well, what's in the budget is, and RBC is part of this big plan, is the state, they want the state to float this multi-billion-dollar bond issue and pay off all the school districts for everything owed on PlanCon. Not just that 150 districts that have projects hanging out there that they didn't get their dollars the last 3 years. It's not just that. It's that plus Daniel Boone, who is owed reimbursement on various projects. I forget how many you got that are reimbursable. It's in the $12 million range. Between now and 2030, that the state will be paying
those.
Yeah.
So they want to pay it all off and then be done.
They're gonna
and
pay
then say
off-
we're
they're
out of
gonna
the
pay
business.
off
We're
their
out of that
credit card.
business.
They're going to pay off their credit card with a multi-billion-dollar bond issue that all the taxpayers in the state will be paying on, and then they're going to come forward with a new PlanCon. It's got a new name. It's not PlanCon anymore. It's similar. So they want
Sounds
to.
shady. But it
My
also.
first question to RBC was, because first day of July, after the budget got torpedoed, I had a meeting scheduled with RBC to talk about things in general.
Right.
Every year. And they were explaining all this. I said, yeah. So how much is RBC going to make on this? We know how much you make, and if you refi
Yeah.
$10 million,
Yeah.
that's another story. But that's the purpose of that meeting that night, because the other piece to it is our 2007 bond issue will be callable in 2017.
And what's that worth?
There's going to be substantial savings there if the market stays
The way it is.
close the way it is. We're looking already at trying to pull another $10 million refi like we did last December and January. That's how we bought Casey's truck. And some of the
Yeah.
savings from that. But they're going to have all this on the table that night.
Okay.
Is that the finance meeting for
Yes.
September?
Nice.
Now, we've got this other one next week, that's Pennsylvania Economy League
Yeah.
regarding the studies regarding building usage or utilization. But,
Probably gonna come to that.
but the 16th of September is RBC saying, hey folks.
I didn't know we were
here's the thing."
definitely
So,
having that meeting.
I say all that because
That was my birthday.
that's where this kind of thing would come into play.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about, I forget, what was the number out of the capital reserve study? That it was just like, it was like $2 million a year or something.
Right. For
And it
20
was
years.
like, and I realized that it was probably inflated.
Well, what do you got there?
But you got $5 million here.
Electrical panels.
4.25.
Gym units, rooftop unit replacements. If you were to replace all the high school rooftop units,
$1.25 million, $1.5 million.
so you've got,
And they're 20 years old.
Well, you got
Yeah.
4.25 right here in 5 years,
Yeah,
and
right,
that's
that's
just
roof.
on
That's
roofs.
roof.
And
Right, that's just on
performance-
roofs.
And the nice part is performance
Right.
contracting can be done with the roofing as well, if you don't want to go through a KPN or whatever. There's so many things that the performance contracting can be used to do nowadays, because it's 15% of it does not have to be tied to energy. So let's say you do $2 million worth of work, there's 300 grand that could be done for painting, floors,
Gotcha.
whatever. So it's a great tool. I wanted to discuss it because of all the things that are going on.
Whatever's going to give us an advantage.
Yeah, and
here,
I don't have an
yes.
issue with it. I think, I mean, if it's up and it works, I think the
Like I
issues,
said.
I think the issue's going to be, I don't know how much money we have to do anything, because we don't
that's
have
what
any
we've
money
got.
to do anything, and
There's-
nobody seems to want to understand that.
There's
I don't mean you guys. I mean,
No,
like,
I'll give you a case in point. I mean, the art room at the high school in the annex, Shriner's room it is. It's right across the hall from the gymnasium, on the parking lot side on the front. Her unit is not defunct, but all but defunct. There again, bearings are shot, shaft is shot, the mounting brackets are shot. I mean, it's going to take a couple $1,000s to repair, and it's only heating. So there's two ways I can go about replacing the unit. One is a split system like you put in your house, very
split?
similar, but on a commercial side of it.
Yeah.
Condensing unit on the roof, air handler in the room, line sets to it, boom, done. You're looking 20 grand. So you're all said and done, you're looking 20 grand.
For one
Because
room?
I got to run electric, contractor's got it installed, the equipment's $9,000, until I do.
Prevailing rate.
But no, I mean, just to like cut holes in the roofs.
$800.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're looking. I still got to run control wiring to it to control it, even to a thermostat. But you're looking, 18 to 20 grand. I can put a conventional air handler in because there is chilled water and hot water piping in the hallway that is capped right now. That would just need to be extended down the hallway about 40 feet. There again, that's $15,000 to $20,000 because that was done when they did the renovation of the annex. For whatever reason, they didn't do those 3 classrooms, those 3 rooms on the end of that hallway, and they didn't do the gymnasium, and they didn't do the locker rooms. They only did the classrooms.
I'm just
so-
beside myself at how many times I hear, it's like, I've been on the board, this is like over a year and a half, I've been on the board, and I think every single meeting I hear about something that was done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, where there was some shortcut that was taken.
That's just, you don't hear that in Birdsboro? It's a municipal thing. We always joke that there's never enough money or time to do it right, but there's always enough money or time to do it twice.
Well, right.
That's our motto at work, because it's like people they shortchange things because they're not thinking ahead, and it's like, well, how cheap can we get it done now? And we're not going to worry about that because that's never going to happen.
Unbelievable.
And then
Like,
the next thing you know, it happens.
The annex gym units. If I was to replace those, I wouldn't go electric. I would go chilled water, hot water, put an air handler up there with 2 coils in it. The piping's already in the hallway. I already run the chillers, I already run the boilers, I already run the pumps.
Right.
You know, all I gotta do is put a box up there with a fan and 2 coils in it, more or less.
Yeah.
You know, and some control valves, you know, and away we go. But you're talking probably the better part of 75 grand to replace each one of those. Those air handlers are probably close to 40,000 bucks a piece. 40 to 45,000 a piece. Now I got to break the old ones out, bring the new ones up. You know, run piping. You know, probably
It's gotta start
100,000 a
getting
piece.
looked
You know,
at,
it's,
yeah.
and that's why I haven't spent the money to rehab what we have, because they're 50-year-old units.
Right. You might as well do it. I think it's.
So that's why
can talk to Andrew.
I'm such a big proponent of the performance contracts. I did them as a contractor. You know, I did them for various people, the Norescos, the carriers.
And all they're saying is they're guaranteeing that you're going to get this savings, you're going to get this return.
We need another night where we really get into
To that.
Correct. And I wanted to bring this up just so.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I
it's-
mean,
And I think a year down the road, Casey, you've begun to assemble this list of
Yep.
needs. And I
Yeah.
think we need to prioritize that list and put some good numbers behind it.
Well-
And then come back and say.
And I
okay,
think we need to start talking on the finance committee end too.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean,
And
we
I'd like
kind of
to get-
blew up the reserve study because, wow, those numbers, I mean, they might not be totally realistic, but they're realistic if
They're-
you
they're-
start
they're
looking
within
at
a
these.
realm.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Thank
we
you.
can't-
That's what I was
We
saying.
can't blow
and-
this off because the needs are there and the money's not.
That's right.
And the part, you know, not that I have to remind you guys this, but the part that everybody has to remember is the new part of the high school is 20 years old.
Right.
The old part of the high school is 50 years old.
Right.
You know, every electrical panel in the annex is 50 years old.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so
And-
and I don't mean to beat a
I
dead
know.
horse, but it's
so
just,
crazy to me.
you know, it's just.
All right.
It's not getting any younger.
No.
No,
Well,
and my
and
concern
yeah.
is to be not being prepared for the future.
And we still, we don't worry about that. You
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
listen, you just retire when we get to that
Well,
point.
and that's why that line item is there,
Right.
light item budget for the turf replacement.
Right.
Right, when you're not, just a fan, you can just retire. Take your pension and go, and
Well,
What do we got besides this?
yeah.
That's it. Just the energy is the last thing.
All right. Now, you can take it there. My question, I didn't get to ask you yet, is the 3 that were tied in with through December, the 3 buildings that were tied in with Constellation through December.
4.
gotta relate that email
Did
too.
last-
Right.
4, okay.
Yeah.
If we were to get their blessing tonight to move ahead with all of them, with direct, is that effective December, or right now, or do we have to hang tough with 4?
No, we can, the energy and I got quite the education on
Let's
this.
give it a quick
the
background.
last.
Last December, we signed on with Constellation for 4 locations.
Okay.
At that time, our remaining locations, it wasn't advantageous.
Okay.
We signed on for 12 months for 4 locations. Okay, now,
Yeah, 12 months for 4 locations, the high school, middle school, AEC, and MEC.
Right.
Okay. We're paying anywhere between 7 cents and 6.68 cents per kilowatt hour
Okay.
for as the commodity.
Right.
That's what we're buying the electric for.
Right.
At that time, I believe the other 7 accounts were somewhere around 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7, somewhere in that neck of the woods. Currently, as of Friday, we're paying still that contracted rate for the 4, but we're paying 8.15 or 8.25 cents per kilowatt hour for the other 7.
Because they're not on
That was
fixed
the
rate.
spreadsheet I sent you guys last week, just kind of showing you kilowatt usage, monies. I tried to explain it the best I could. I knew what all the numbers meant, but I just kind of was throwing things in there.
it was impressive.
What's that?
It was impressive.
Well, I try. You know, I'm a numbers guy, so I try to explain it the best I
Numbers
can.
at the wall.
Direct Energy used to be Hess Energy. they're, you know,
So you can flip it to somebody else.
correct.
For cheaper?
We can buy, we're tied in with Constellation until December,
Okay.
the 4. The other 7 are a month to month. We just pay the commodity price. Whatever the commodity
Right.
price is met by that, that's what we're paying. Direct Energy is willing to contract us for 2 years at 5.9 cents per
Fine.
kilowatt hour. 5.913 or whatever it is
On the other 7.
on
They'll
all
do it-
11.
They'll do all 11, but that's my question.
You have to wait till December.
We can contract with Hess today, well, Monday. I've asked them to run new numbers on Monday morning, because that number changes every day.
Right, yeah, it
Your
changes,
numbers will
yeah.
change every day. So I've asked them to run numbers Monday morning, so we have accurate numbers to give
For
to
the board.
so they can see it Monday night. But we can contract today for our electric from 2000, I mean, from December 1st or December 15th, whatever the term is, of 2015 till December 15th, 2017. We can contract that amount today.
That's where I
Right.
was heading. In other
Yeah.
words, we're not
Okay.
going to do it effective Monday, we're
No.
going to do it effective December.
But
Correct.
can you
But
get
the other accounts-
can you get the
but the
7
other
buildings
accounts we
on
can-
from now till
We
December?
can do as of Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Leave the 4 with Constellation.
Leave the 4 with Constellation until
Yeah.
that term
I'm
runs
good.
out, and then.
I don't even need more of an explanation.
That doesn't need to go to a vote, does it?
Yeah, it does because it's
Does
a
it?
contract.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, it's a contract.
And because technically, energy it could go down
It-
by
it
some,
could-
but the chances of it going much below 5.
As
and
Direct
that's-
Energy
that's
said
crazy.
to me, Chris Petrowski is the local rep.
Yeah.
He said, Casey, I can't believe they're doing it for under 6 cents.
Yeah.
He goes, they have to make money. You know, Direct Energy, you know, PJM or whoever they're buying the electric from, you know, it can only go so low.
Right.
Yeah, there's a wholesale cost.
Luckily,
yeah.
the natural
I mean,
gas
we're
has
hedging that
gone
it's
down
gonna
a little
go
bit.
up.
We
And
were
that's why
currently
we
with
buy.
Edge Insights is who we broker to deal with to Constellation. We use them as a consulting firm, which they used in the past. You know, but we can work direct with Constellation. We can work direct with Direct Energy. So what I did was I asked Direct Energy to work with us. So now Edge Insights won't be calling Direct Energy for a number because Direct
Right.
is now working direct with us. You know, and then
Middleman.
Constellation's not paying them the broker fee to get the deal done, which is about, probably for lack of a better term, a cent a kilowatt hour would be my guess is probably what their fee is. And they can, Edge Insights can mess around with that number, like they're providing us a number, you know, so it's kind of, you know.
Okay.
And the numbers have been pretty flat.
I'll write the resolution.
To me, that's a
move-
no-brainer.
To move
Yeah.
immediately with the 7 and roll the other 4 with Direct Energy effective whatever date it is in December.
You know, and like I said, they're going to run the numbers Monday morning. And there again, like I said, I
Keep our fingers crossed.
you know,
Well,
they've been pretty stable the last 2 weeks.
I got fresh numbers today from Edge Insights against your numbers for Direct on Friday when you sent me that email. And now this is with the gross receipts tax built in.
Right.
When you don't hear 5 cents, but for a 24-month deal, Edge Insights wants 6.5 cents against 6.3 cents. So take 0.2 of a cent.
I think every tenth of a cent is $1,100
A year.
a year. I think it's more than that actually.
More than that.
I think
Per
it's more than
building? Or
that. I'd have to check the spreadsheet I have up there,
Per
but
kilowatt
it's
hour?
either way, I don't care if we save $2,200.
it's roughly about
You don't-
80.
Yeah.
It's a guaranteed about $80,000 savings every year.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
From what
At
we're paying
5
now. From what we're paying now.
Correct. This is from what we're paying currently at July and at June rates. The spreadsheet I gave you guys was at using June rates. That was 8.15 cents. It's now 8.3.
That's the other thing too. When you talk about that, when you talk about, I don't know if you guys were involved in ending the lease with Matthew Brook Building, the train contracts. Again, year and a half on the board. I'm thinking I've watched or witnessed a good, you could say $450,000
half
a year.
$500,000 probably being
Yeah.
saved.
Easy. And I don't want to downplay the work that you guys have done because it's been great. But what the heck have people been doing? Like, there's some stuff that's like glaring, and it's great, but it's still not enough.
Still got to do. All right, back to equipment quickly.
Okay.
That's
Can you
out
use
there.
that?
No, you can have that. That's out there for the equipment that the board already approved. All right, and we'll see where we go. Keep in mind that we had said initially we do approve the 17,000 for the turf machine. It ended up costing us 15. That we were going to do this.
Right.
But anything that we recover in addition, Casey's going to be coming forward with a list of needs.
List needs. That's
I'm
fair.
going to be coming forward that red Ford pickup that was in the body shop that wouldn't pass inspection. That's got to go. And I said to Casey, I'm going to get authorization to dispose of that because it still will move under its own power, but not for long.
Not anymore.
When we quit,
Friday, Thursday.
shouldn't have said. So that the clutch is done.
The clutch and the torque converter are probably both toast.
So we're going to have to just sell it.
Who was driving it?
It's
It
just,
should have just been sad.
it's just,
It's just-
and I'll just give you a quick rundown. To buy another, and I'm just going to throw these numbers at you, and I don't want to scare you with them, but we are currently, the red truck is down. The 88 Chevy two-wheel drive stick that we have doesn't run because the starter issue has now pretty much made it defunct, so we'd have to really kind of tear into the transmission to see if it's just a starter or it's a flywheel or what the issue is there. The 92 Chevy two-wheel drive stick shift runs, but it's, you know.
What about a 1992?
How about an 84 dump
My
truck?
first car
that
was a 1992.
We tried to haul an
And it was
entire
really good.
load of topsoil with, and it wouldn't make a hill. We had to come back and dump some of the dirt out of it to drive it. So the trucks are in some sad shape. If the part of buying the truck that I have currently was to move that into the maintenance fleet at the high school so they could use it to tow the band trailer. Because that's why we got the F-350. So that could tow the band trailer because currently our athletics vans, as you guys know,
Oh, we got it to plow snow.
and we also bought the plow snow and do that. We're really in need of another truck because without the red truck, we now don't have the ability to tow the trailers, to move any mowers anywhere. So now we were mowing as a landscaping crew. Now we had to abandon that process and we had to move equipment back to the buildings.
Hence your email.
Yeah. So, in need of a truck. The thought would be, my personal thought would be to get a 250 series, which is fine for plowing, an extended cab for me so I can haul my laptop, I can haul tools, and I can still take people. Now whenever I have to take somebody, a salesperson or a vendor or anything, you know, it's throw my tools in the bed of the truck, and you know, I'm always back and forth trying to move things around. But it's a $28,000 purchase for a truck, and then it's another $6,400 for a plow. It's another $1,000 to get a line X and the light and stuff like that. So you're looking another $36,000 for another truck. But we need the truck. I mean, we're at the point now where, come wintertime, we're going to be really scrambling to try to get things done because I wanted to move another person into the plowing crew.
Why do we need to buy brand new? I mean, I forget what the logic was last time for that.
For what used vehicles cost anymore, especially four-wheel drive, it's used and it's abused. You know.
Yeah.
Used vehicle. That's why I bought new the last two times I
Yeah.
bought new. 'Cause
I did too, but
The other part of it
falling
is
apart.
the plow on our one truck, and I forget, it's a Dodge. Yeah, it's a Dodge, because the dual wheels are a Ford. The Dodge, that plow blew up more or less last year. It's going to cost like $3,000 to fix it. That's also a plow we can't lift over curbs. It doesn't lift up high enough to get over curbs.
Okay. No, I
can't make this stuff up.
Not
I've
shooting
said
the
that
messenger.
before. I've said this before. But to get a plow on that one is the same as it costs to put a new truck. It's $6,400. So just basic needs for this winter, we're looking 40 some grand for equipment. I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news, but I mean that's something that is going to need to happen in some way, some form, because it just we're at the point where we're having a difficult time right now. Getting the guys where they need to go, in an efficient manner.
Good.
Well, I was thinking get some quotes together. Then, if it's something we have to do, we have to do it. I don't know where the money will come from, but maybe it'll drain.
One piece of it is I want to see
how we do on that.
Yeah.
I know you gave us, I think you probably gave us a sheet, but I don't know if you can email it out again because I have so many papers, I don't know where they are. Well, you gave us a list of vehicles and the years and all that. Can you just email it out again, if you don't mind? Because we got to look at that as we got to have a replacement schedule for that. Because what's your newest vehicle other than the one that you're driving?
07.
And I've been told, and I think maybe it was you that said that it's one of the worst conditions.
No, the 07 is actually not in that bad of shape. The dual wheels in 03, 04.
Ken Smith's old Dodge.
Yeah, the old Dodge is an 07, so it's still
9 years old.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get that vehicle list out and do some research on it.
And like I said, I only went to New Holland Ford is who we bought the truck from before. They've always been the cheapest whenever I've shopped for trucks for the schools. The other consideration, and it's not my most desirable, is a lease.
Well, right.
But,
It may come up. It may come up. It came up before.
And I'm not.
So it might not hurt. I know, but it might not hurt to have an idea of what that would be.
And I'll talk to New Holland on municipal lease. Because I think you have to do their municipal leases, if I remember, 5 years. So they're five or six,
Probably.
and you're tied into 5 or 6. They don't give you a 3-year lease.
Right.
So what? You only pay for the
For depreciation.
Well, but see, leasing for us is a little different than leasing for your car.
Okay.
Because municipal leases, it's a buyout at the end. You're actually buying the vehicle.
Out.
It's $1 out. You're paying.
Yeah.
You're buying the vehicle. It's like it's almost like you're financing the vehicle, but they call it a lease.
The first 5 years with a
with some kind of buyout.
I do fair market value. My world's different than vehicles, but I do fair market value leases for copiers and stuff all the time. Municipal leases.
Well, I'm just saying. Like, I know when we buy, like, because we just bought we bought an International on lease. It's not really a lease. We're buying it. It's just we're paying for it over 5 years or 6 years, but they call it a lease.
Yeah.
And then you buy it out. I'm sorry, what?
Getting Act 13 money impact?
No, we're not. Well, I should say that we did get some under grant for open space, but we're not an Act 13 community, so we have to apply for grants through the county from things that they're.
And I'll be honest with you, 2 trucks would be ideal, but I'll take 1.
So,
aside from requiring,
Should ask for 4.
did you find out what happened with that van? Talk about light poles getting that athletic van that's got the side pushed in on it. What
Well, that's
happened?
been for a while.
I don't care.
Well,
Once again,
Yeah.
what happened? Was there an insurance claim?
I'm sure there probably wasn't. And Goose is gone, so I can reach out to Goose.
Yeah, reach out to her. We got to find out
And you know what? Honestly, I mean, I don't know if we have any kind of policy on this,
Yeah.
but when somebody takes a vehicle, they should have a sheet. They got to walk around, they check that this works, that works, you know.
Corner walk around.
And then when they get back, they sign off. And the next person, and you'll find out who does what because they'll be getting inspected every
Muhlenberg
time.
does.
That-
Muhlenberg School does. It's odometer,
Yes.
gas gauge. Because I drive for the bowling team, it's I have all this stuff.
Your taillights work, they brake, you know, your turn signals work.
Go into Enterprise and photocopy one of their sheets.
Up north, I did it in my maintenance barn. The guy that got on the mower, there's a clipboard hanging on the wall beside the machine.
Yep.
And he had to walk around, log in the hours on the machine and the condition of the machine, how much fuel was in it.
Mhm.
And if it wasn't full from the last time, the last guy was in trouble because when you finished with the machine, you fuel it up.
Yep.
I mean, that's ridiculous. If there's damage to a vehicle,
We should
we
have-
don't know how it
It's got
happens.
substantial. And
That should be tightened up for sure.
nothing has been reported to me in the 15 months I've been here. Now, during that 15 months, those vans were used by the community center for how many months last summer before we realized it. But here again, talk about insurance for the guys. It's the image of Daniel Boone Area School District going down the road with the side of the van pushing.
It's all
Right.
beat up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And what it
Now,
does
those
is
vans with the guys, the male guys drive, and so do they drive other vehicles?
They drive the white one. The male guys drive the old athletics van,
Okay.
which I have to buy a seat for because the entire left-hand side of the seat is totally fallen apart. But I want to find out where the two seats are on the athletic van, so that maybe we'll swap it
say
out.
something like,
All right, anything else?
Sorry for the bad news tonight, but it's
It's always been.
It's that for every night with you, Casey.
I never have good news.
Every night with
It's
I know you
facility
really
stuff.
are the bearer of bad news
I-
on a regular basis.
It's gonna get worse.
I know. We're
Well,
just up against
the
the wall.
district
with
has
this
to,
stuff.
I mean, we have to commit to putting some money towards capital improvements. We
Right.
can't go, well, we got a brand new school and a brand new stadium. There's the rest of the stuff's falling down around
the
our
problem
ears.
is too, there's nothing new anymore. I mean,
That's right, we got an old brand new stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Old brand new school.
And,
That's right.
and this is why closing the building might come into play a little sooner.
you know, and I mean the high school. I mean, I think I have 4 units I need to replace that are the phone. You know, and I'm going to have to start picking away at them now that train issues resolved. You know, I can buy a unit and swap it out, buy a unit and swap it out, but you know, I only have, let's say, the high school, 38 grand for, you know, upgrades, and you're talking, I'm going to swallow that in a heartbeat. You
On the
know,
bright side, like you said earlier, how much you would have been paying in all those facilities.
Right, but see, the problem is, it's not like we took that 450,000 and dedicated
Set aside.
it towards
Yeah.
capital. We took that 450,000 and used it towards education, which you have to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying.
public or
I think she's with the people.
Last time I checked, we're in the business of educating children.
That's right.
Right, but if
Right.
the buildings are falling down around our ears, you have a
It's
problem.
tougher and tougher.
That's
So-
right.
When I was in higher education, we called it the decaying academe.
The what?
It's the decaying academe.
Okay.
Buildings falling
Yes.
down around us.
Yes.
Tuition, room, board, and fees weren't keeping up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the first Monday is Labor Day, so we're not going to be done. I don't have 2 guys that
Yeah, I
aren't
won't
here
be here.
this year.